political system of the United States of America has resulted in effectively a two-party system. This is a natural occurrence in a first-past-the-post system where each candidate stands in a single-seat constituency, and the candidate with the most votes wins the seat outright. But this can lead to an assembly that doesn't reflect the voters' overall preferences particularly well, and so has led some to suggest that the system should be changed to a proportional system. So how would American politics look under a proportional system? Time for a thought experiment. The Dutch offer an example of such a system. The Netherlands House of Representatives, the Tweede Kamer de Staten-Generaal, is elected based on an open list. Voters give their vote to a candidate on the list. But what's important first is what party that candidate represents. The Tweede Kamer has 150 seats, and under the Dutch system, a seat is awarded to a party for every 150th of the popular vote. Inevitably, this will not lead to every seat being filled, so the remaining seats are awarded based on the highest remainder. There is one small caveat in the Dutch system that we won't be applying here with our overview analysis, but it's worth mentioning. Any individual who gains 1/4 of the threshold in votes in their own right is considered elected, jumping the list put forward by their party and resulting in the presence of independent members. Applying this system of proportional representation to American politics will require some assumptions. The third most popular party in America is the Libertarian Party, which received just 1.2% of the popular vote for the House of Representatives in 2014. Compare this with the United Kingdom's 2015 election result, where their third largest party, UKIP, received 12.6% of the popular vote. This isn't going to be as straightforward as my UK House of Commons under MMP scenario. So in our analysis, we're going to have to break up the two big players of American politics. However, we still want to take a data-driven approach. So to break up the Democrat and Republican votes, we're going to look at how each of the factions within each party performed in this year's presidential primary campaign. I say we're going to do this because I've asked Will, the political junkie, to come and provide us with some numbers.
For the Democrats, we'll split off Sanders to form his own party, Bernie Sanders Progressive Coalition, and he'll take his 12 million primary voters with him. That leaves Democrats under Clinton with 15.8 million voters. On the Republican side, Trump becomes leader of the Make America Great Again party with 13.3 million votes. Ted Cruz is our banner holder for the Tea Party, bringing in 7.6 million votes, and the establishment Republicans are represented by Kasich and Rubio, with just shy of 4.2 and 3.5 million votes respectively, giving us 7.6 million Republican voters. For the minor parties, we will bring in the Libertarians and the Greens. However, the turnout for their primaries was extremely low. And so rather than base their votes on the primaries, we're going to set their percentages based on the polling average for each party. So 8% of the vote for the Libertarians and 3.1% of the vote to the Greens.
Those percentages will result in just over 5 million and just under 2 million votes for the Libertarians and the Greens, respectively, and a new total vote of 63,463,960 votes. This gives us a threshold of 145,895 to win a seat in the 435-seat United States House of Representatives. This threshold results in 13 seats for the Greens, 82 seats for Bernie Sanders Progressive Coalition, 108 seats for the Democratic Party, 34 seats for the Libertarians, 52 seats for the Republicans, and the same for the Tea Party, and Trump's Make America Great Again party will come in with 91 seats. With 3 seats yet to be allocated, these are allocated to the parties with the largest remainder, giving an extra seat to the Libertarians, Greens, and Progressives, and bringing our total to 435. Obviously, no party has gained an outright majority, and so a coalition is required. Furthermore, a coalition made up of either our Republican or Democratic-derived parties falls short of being able to form a government. So with this scenario, the Libertarians find themselves in position of kingmaker, able to choose between supporting a right-wing Trump-led coalition with the Republicans and Tea Party, or a left-leaning Clinton-led coalition, including at least the Progressives, and possibly also the Greens, in order to keep them friendly for future elections. The Libertarians could use their position as kingmaker to gain significant concessions from whoever they form a government with. However, with great power comes great responsibility, and if the nation were to return to the polls, they may well punish the kingmakers for their failure to make a king. An alternative would be for the now more moderate Republican Party to support the Democrats and Progressives in forming a centre-based government. But given how quickly the House Republicans have come to support Trump, I wouldn't hold your breath on this one. And the Libertarians are, historically, an offshoot of the Republican Party. So perhaps the safe money would be on a Trump Primeministership, leading a coalition of the Make America Great Again Party, working with the Republicans, the Tea Party, and the Libertarians, with Hillary Clinton leading the opposition. One advantage of this type of proportional system is the removal, or at least limiting, of the spoiler effect. While under the de facto two-party system of first past the post, a third-party candidate has the effect of diluting the votes from their ideologically closest major party, thereby increasing the chance of an ideologically opposing party winning the seat. Therefore, voting for a third-party candidate can actually work against voters' best interests. The low one-seat threshold of the Dutch system applied here minimises these effects, as these smaller parties gain representation and can, in a coalition, use their votes to support an allied major party. But over the longer term, would proportional representation change American politics for the better? Well, to go deeper into that, I'll hand back over to the political junkie, Will.
Have you ever noticed how substanceless our national debate can be? You have two parties whose task it is to scare you away from the other. If we had 3, 4, 5 legitimate parties, we could expect that while the media would continue to focus on the dramatic, the shocking, the horse race, the fights, that they would inevitably also be hooked into exposing their audience to more than 2 ping-pong parties. Those other parties would be involved in the fight too. Heck, in a proportional system, they might even win that fight. If democracy is about an exchange of ideas, then we should relish in the idea that a multi-party system could bring more ideological diversity, where smaller parties could form, run on a level playing field, participate in coalition, ultimately form governments. But is this too idealistic? The major flaw of the American electoral system is that it inevitably leads to 2 major parties. New movements are either resigned to obscurity or absorbed under the umbrella of one of the bigger parties. But this phenomenon doesn't just exist in our system. In almost every country with democracy, you'll find 2 major parties, who almost without exception hold power in the national government. Smaller parties aren't absorbed into bigger parties like in the US, they're absorbed into the bigger party's governing coalition. Perhaps human beings simply can't handle more than 2 choices. Despite what your civics teacher, your poli-sci professor, or your cynical political activist friend said, is a proportional system really worth fighting for if the outcome is all the same?
Thanks, Will. There are obviously a lot of assumptions in this analysis, so in the comments below, let us know where you think we went wrong, if you think proportional representation would be good for American politics, and who you think would win under a proportional system. And once you've answered that, make sure to check out Political Junkie. Appropriately, his latest video is all about the spoiler effect and its role in the year 2000 presidential race and the delegates from Florida.
Nader's goal in 2000 was to nab 5% of the vote, as doing this would unlock federal funding for the 2004 election. As the 2000 election polling drew razor thin between Governor George W. Bush and Vice President Al Gore, some in the Nader campaign wanted him to place his efforts into liberally dense population centers like California or New York.